Be me, 24 years old. Living with boyfriend Marcus in downtown Loft. Been dating for 3 years. Thought we were soulmate material. Around month 10, start following feminist Twitter accounts. Friends keep sharing threads about red flags. Suddenly seeing problems everywhere. Marcus works construction. Wakes up at 5 for work sites. Plays basketball every Tuesday. Watches documentaries without tearing up. Walking manifestation of toxic masculinity in my eyes. Saturday afternoon. Incense burning. Laptop glowing with 30 tabs open. Articles about mental load and invisible labor. Chest tight like I am about to start a movement. Hear his truck pull up. He walks in, dusty work boots, grinning at some text message. His happiness feels like an attack on my awareness. We need to have a conversation. His smile drops immediately. Sure. Can I wash up first? No. That word felt revolutionary. Make him sit at the kitchen table. I stand so I have the advantage, moral and physical. Tell him I have been educating myself. Say I see now our relationship is built on unchallenged masculinity. He looks confused. What are you talking about? Take a breath. For one thing, you wake up at 5 every morning. That is performative masculinity. You are reinforcing capitalist productivity culture that exploits women. He stares at me. I just have to be at the site early. Exactly. You prioritize work over our emotional connection. That is how the patriarchy keeps women secondary. He glances at the stack of feminist books on our coffee table. Says nothing. Bring up basketball night. How he has never once canceled for my pottery class. How he is emotionally unavailable to me, but not his team. He tries to say you see your sister 3 times a week. You had brunch yesterday and Thursday. I interrupt. That is not the same. We are deconstructing trauma. You are performing male bonding. His jaw gets tight. Then I mention the documentary thing. Remember when we watched that film about the activist? You did not cry during the jail scene. Emotionally developed men cry there. He rubs his face. I like the film. I just was not moved to tears. Hear the word moved and decide it proves he is emotionally blocked. Tell him he is disconnected from vulnerability. Tell him emotional intelligence is not equally shared in this relationship. He does not even read feminist literature. He opens his mouth. I interrupt again. I scheduled couple therapy. He looks shocked. You made an appointment without asking me. Yes. Because you never take initiative with emotional labor. There are literally dozens of articles about this. Hold up my phone like it is scripture. Tell him the therapist is a woman who focuses on deconstructing masculinity. She has a newsletter. She has to be legitimate. Give him my terms. If you care about this relationship, you will attend. If you refuse, I will know you are using me as emotional support. Silence. He looks wounded, then just says, fine, I will go. Feel that activist energy. This is what dismantling systems looks like. 3 days later. Therapy office smells like lavender and possibility. Big windows, comfortable chairs. Bookshelf full of trauma literature. Therapist is maybe 50s. Gray hair in a bun. Gentle face but sharp eyes. Looks like she could hug you and also see through you. She asks what brings you both here. I start talking before Marcus can breathe. Say there are concerning patterns of masculine conditioning emerging. Say I am worried our dynamic will become damaging over time. She listens. Asks for specifics. Pull up my phone notes. My documented evidence. First, his construction obsession. He is up before dawn. Leaves while I am still sleeping. Abandons me with my anxious thoughts. Therapist asks how often. He says 5 days a week. Says it helps him feel grounded. First time hearing the word grounded from him. Therapist turns to me. How does his work schedule affect you? Say it makes me feel neglected. Like my emotional needs are less important than his paycheck. She writes something, nods. Interesting. Continue. Tell her about basketball night, about his group chat with the guys, about the jokes they probably share. Probably degrading even though I have never actually seen them. Marcus quietly says they mostly share game highlights and pictures of their dogs. I say that is superficial emotional connection. Say he invests in shallow relationships instead of depth with me. Therapist asks, how often do you see your friends? Caught off guard. Say pretty often, but add that it is different. We discuss meaningful topics. Healing and systems and body autonomy. Therapist nods, writes more. Then asks, when Marcus tells you about his day, how do you typically respond? Tell her I listen actively. I create safe space. I affirm him. Marcus shifts. Says sometimes when I mention work stress, she tells me it is nothing compared to what women face, or that I am centering my male experience. So I stopped sharing. Feel heat in my face. That is not shutting down. That is you choosing ease over growth. Therapist does not validate me. Just says I hear pain in both of your voices. Session ends. She suggests we each do individual work. Explore our own stories. She looks at Marcus and says it might help you to have your own therapeutic space. Do not love that phrasing. Sounds like she is creating alliance with him. But I agree because it sounds enlightened. Following week, he has his solo session. I spend that hour at a bookstore, reading articles about emotional manipulation, imagining all the realizations he must be having. He comes home later, quieter, softer maybe. I ask how was it. He says we discussed boundaries. That word lands like a punch. Boundaries. As in excuses to avoid emotional work. Ask what he means. He says I realized I agree to things I do not want. Because I am afraid of your reaction. Heart starts pounding. That sounds like he is blaming me. Tell him softly that his fear is probably internalized shame, programming from patriarchal culture. He is projecting it onto me. He nods slowly, does not push back, which I interpret as more avoidance. Next couple weeks, small things change. One morning he leaves without sending good morning text. Comes back with coffee for just himself. Says the drive-through line was crazy. He did not want to be late. Feel strangely hurt he chose punctuality over my cappuccino. Tuesday arrives. He texts in the afternoon. Heading to watch the game at Devon's place. Will be back around midnight. Do not remember agreeing to this. Text back. Tonight is usually our movie night. He replies, we can do it tomorrow. I really need to hang with the guys. Stare at the screen. Feels like someone is using therapy language against me. When he gets home, I am sitting with a journal. Tell him therapy is making him self-centered. Tell him individual sessions should make him more connected to us, not more separate. He sits, looks exhausted. Says I think I am realizing I am allowed to have boundaries. My brain translates that to I am allowed to abandon you. Fourth week I request emergency joint session. Things are clearly deteriorating. We sit down. Therapist watches us like someone observing a slow disaster. I begin. Explain that since therapy started he has been withdrawn, making decisions without consulting me, prioritizing himself over us. Marcus listens, then says I actually feel clearer than I have in years. That sentence feels like treason. Therapist asks him to elaborate. He says I realized I have been operating from fear, trying to respond perfectly, so I do not get accused of being patriarchal or emotionally stunted, and I am exhausted. Feels like betrayal. He is weaponizing my language. Tell him that is a convenient narrative for someone avoiding accountability. Therapist raises her hand. Very gently says I want to share an observation. She looks at me. Says when Marcus describes basic self-care, exercise or friendships or work, You tend to reframe those as abandonment or aggression. Stomach drops. Brain screams she is missing the point. Say that is because those behaviors are often ways men avoid intimacy. There is research on this. Therapist nods but does not agree. Says what I notice is his autonomy feels threatening to you. I laugh, high-pitched. Say of course it feels threatening. Men having unchecked independence is how women get harmed. Long pause. Marcus looks at the floor, then at me. Then says very softly, I do not think I can be in this relationship anymore. Room becomes both silent and deafening. My voice comes out strangled. You are seriously ending us because you do not want to examine yourself. He shakes his head. This is me examining myself. I feel controlled. I feel like I have to perform correctly or fail some invisible test. Therapist does not disagree with him. She actually nods. She looks at me and says I need to be direct. The concerning patterns I see here are yours, not his. Feels like my brain just unplugged. She continues. Marcus exercises, work, sees friends. Those are neutral behaviors. Some are even healthy. What concerns me is how quickly you pathologize them, and how you interpret his boundaries as attacks. Feel my face burning. Say, are you actually saying I am the issue? She says I am saying control disguised as care is still control. Want to leave but cannot move. Marcus says I do not resent you. I just cannot keep apologizing for being alive. That hits harder than any article I ever read. I finally stand. Say fine. If you want to leave a woman who actually understands oppression, go ahead. You will end up with someone who never challenges you. He does not follow me. Therapist does not follow me. I leave anyway. Fight that night is catastrophic. Accuse him of letting a female therapist manipulate him. He says she just listened. You are upset about what I said. Accuse him of being passive. He says that is ironic because this is the hardest conversation I have ever had. He sleeps in the spare room. Next morning he packs a duffel and goes to his brother's place. Texts the group chat. Maya says classic fragile masculinity. Cannot handle being confronted. Becca says I always knew from how he ate pizza he had control issues. Feel validated but also empty. Week later meet the girls at cocktail bar. Tell the story again. This time emphasize how the therapist took his side. Say it is internalized misogyny. Women can enforce patriarchy too. Everyone nods gravely. We toast to self-respect and standards. Later that night home alone, look at his side of the closet. Empty hangers. Feels like a crime scene. Open phone. Algorithm knows I am broken. Feeds me 12 videos about narcissistic partners. One title says 8 signs you were actually the toxic one. Skip it immediately. Open different video instead. 12 signs your ex was emotionally stunted. Nod along to every point. Literally yell yes when it mentions gym culture and male friend groups. Send to Maya with caption, this is literally Marcus. She replies exactly. You escaped. Scroll through old pictures. Him in his work shirt. Me leaning against him. Both of us looking like we had no idea theory could be dangerous. Close photos. Open Notes app. Start writing social media posts about how difficult it is being woke in relationships. About how men would rather leave than evolve. Type and delete the sentence. Sometimes I wonder if he was evolving and saw something in me he could not live with. Replace it with something sharper. Something that will resonate. End with I refuse to apologize for demanding a partner capable of growth. Hit save, not publish. Not yet. Lie in bed. Apartment too quiet. Ceiling feels too far away. Promise myself next relationship will be with someone already awakened. So I do not have to force him into therapy to learn how to keep choosing me. Fall asleep to video titled Recognizing Covert Masculinity in Future Partners. Wake up already composing a new argument in my head. Just in case.